Meet sailing yacht Avanti and her crew, Gerard and Jacqueline. We left Cape Town in December 2021 on our floating home, heading west on an adventure of a lifetime around the world.
A beautiful sunrise on the Pacific Ocean, after a stunning night with a dark moon and so many stars. The stars are so bright that they light up the whole sky all the way to the horizon, and even light up the deck enough for me to need no light at night. The past 7 days we've had great winds, and we're making speeds that we haven't seen in days. But there's a big blue windless hole on the predictions that keep getting closer and bigger.
On my morning walk around the deck, I pick up the dead flying fish. This happens every single morning, and we start to think that we might not be getting any more fish because they're all too well fed by the thousands of flying fish.
It's the morning of day 18, and we expected the wind to turn a little bit more to the west, and we finally have that, and we've gone wing on wing. So you'll see the Genoa is pulled out behind me, and we've got the main up. So we're sailing wing on wing, basically dead downwind, heading dead west. We expect the wind to be in this direction for basically the rest of the trip. We've been really making good ground the last, it feels like weeks, it probably is, with good trade wind conditions. We've had a few light spells, but nothing really below 10 knots for very long. So like 12 to 14 knots, yesterday even up to 16, 17 knots. So we've been really making good ground. The weather forecast for the next day or three really looks light though. So we are about 800 nautical miles out, and with these winds, if it continues, we should do that in about 6 days. But as you can see behind me, the clouds look a little bit weird. It's not all puffy clouds or low puffy clouds. You can see those very high slithers of clouds, and that normally means there's a bit of a change in weather in the next 24 to 48 hours. And that kind of confirms to us that we might have these light winds as predicted. So yesterday we decided to change course a little bit, to go a little bit more north, because it looks like there's more wind to the north and much less to the south. So hopefully we can maneuver around most of the lull. It is quite a big lull for a few days. But yeah, we'll report back and see how bad it is. Hopefully not too bad. Over the next few days we settle into a nice routine of hoisting the spinnaker just after sunrise in the morning and taking it down before sunset at night.
are loving the conditions. It's super smooth sailing. We really have nothing to complain about, but it's been a long time being on a boat, and it'll be really nice to get to land. We've had the last of our fresh tuna, and we were hoping to arrive in the Marquesas with a full freezer. But so far no luck since the last small mahi we caught. Bit of a flap from the sails because of the swell. And hopefully we'll get there soon. We are within 800 nautical miles, which means we should be there in 5 days. But unfortunately we've got a big blue hole of no wind on the predictions saying we will take 3 days longer, 2 or 3 days, since we won't use our fuel. A bit disheartening, but what can we do? We want to get there safely, that's the most important. Our freezer has stopped working. It just shut off and we don't know why.
Yesterday we opened the lazarette where the freezer is, our camping freezer, and I saw the temperature wasn't on the normal setting. It was a bit higher and there was a warning light on. So yeah, the warning light flashed and it didn't look good to me, so I just unplugged it and I switched it off. Well, switched it off first, unplugged it, checked the connections, and then I plugged it in again and I switched it on and it was fine again. So it ran, and I read in the manual that if that particular warning light comes on, it means like there was a low voltage. So I assumed one of the connections were just dirty, a little bit corroded, didn't look corroded, and that it's fine. So today I opened the lazarette to run the water maker. I've been checking the temperature now regularly last night as well, and it ran fine. But when I opened the lazarette to run the water maker, the fridge was on and it was on temperature, and when I switched on the water maker and came back here, the fridge was completely off. So that was quite weird. So I unplugged the connection. The fridge came with a 12 volt cable. It's quite a thin cable. My cables coming from the batteries to the fridge is quite a bit bigger. But yeah, this one has a built-in fuse in it. As you can see, a 10 amp fuse. The fuse is still fine. But this connection was warm when I took it off. And yeah, there's no conductivity through it. So somewhere inside this connection, something went wrong, and yeah, I tested the cable, was still fine. So I've just cut the cable, because there's a special connection that goes into the fridge, and I've wired that directly to my cables coming into the socket connection. I have a fuse on the battery side which should protect the cable, so I don't need this fuse at the device. And yeah, luckily we've turned it on and it's running, so I really hope it was just a power issue. But it's weird that the fuse is still fine and the connection is, well, the socket connection was very hot, so something must have shorted in here maybe, or there's a bad connection. The light winds that we were expecting to arrive tonight has arrived a little bit early, so we've tried everything we can. The only thing we can do is fly the spinnaker and hand steer. So our autopilot with the swell and the wind pilot does not keep the course and does not keep the spinnaker filled with wind. So the only way is to hand steer. Don't know how long we're going to keep it up, but we're doing an hour on, an hour off for now. We'll see how it goes.
Foot steering.
or let's say foot steering, because you have to watch the spinnaker, watch the heading and the wind direction, and steer the boat. Two days ago we received the shocking news from some friends of us that's in Panama on land that a boat that was about 400 nautical miles west of us or ahead of us was sunk after they struck a whale. So it was really shocking news for us. We didn't really know what happened. That's all the news we got. And then today we actually got an email with a report from the skipper. The boat is called Rain Dancer, and they were on the hard with us in Shelter Bay, just a few boats next to us. They also hauled out there, and they were moored there for a few days. So the report came out, and they were sailing during the day, eating pizza in the cockpit like we are doing, well, sitting in the cockpit now. And all of a sudden they heard a big bang and like a screeching, cracking noise. And they saw a whale just on the side of the boat that was bleeding quite badly. So the whale ended up actually taking out the skeg, or damaging the skeg where the rudder is attached to, quite badly. The skipper actually jumped over into the water to have a quick look while they were taking on water and sinking. And after investigating and deploying the life raft, the boat actually sunk within about 15 minutes from hitting the whale. So it all went down extremely quickly. They did manage to get everybody in the life raft safely, and luckily for them there was a group of ark boats that's on their way to Marquesas, quite close to them. So they sent out a mayday and their rescue was coordinated, and one of the ark boats turned around. They were about a day ahead of them, and they picked them up, I think, within a day's time. So they spent one night in the life raft, and yeah, after that got picked up and on their way to Marquesas. Land ahoy! We spotted land, or Jackie spotted land about 2 hours ago. I don't know if you can see it in the background, but where the clouds are, basically you can see Hivaua. So that's our French Polynesian first stop. This is the courtesy flag I'm about to raise. So we're very happy that we found this pimple in the Pacific Ocean. After 32 days at sea, we're really looking forward to get there. It's just the wind is extremely light. As you can see, we're just flying our spinnaker. Hopefully we get there before sunset. Yay!
We made it! Sadly, the wind dropped and we had to motor the last 7 hours. But we couldn't be so close and not get there. Every time we see land after a while at sea, it remains amazing that we found it. Yes, numerous GPSs help, but we still feel great knowing that we've accomplished this crossing, our first crossing alone and also the largest crossing we will ever have. As the crow flies, it was a 3,900 nautical mile journey, but in our search for wind we sailed a total of 4,500 nautical miles in the 32 days. And yes, we're pretty chuffed with ourselves.
Join us next week as we arrive and enjoy the Marquesas. These islands are absolutely beautiful and island life is unlike anything we have experienced before. Thank you to our Patreons for supporting the making of these videos monthly. If you want to help but can't be a Patreon, please like our videos. Leaving comments and subscribing helps YouTube to show our videos to more new people to enjoy. See you next week.